Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily NVIDIA report for Monday, January 27th, 2025. I'm going to start with this chart. Actually, before I jump into this, I just want to once again remind you about wickedstocks.com. You go to the website, take advantage of our 5-day free trial. You will see daily triple Q, daily SPY, weekly Apple stock, weekly S&P 500, weekly NASDAQ 100 analysis, 2 stock picks every week. Last week we did 2 energy stocks, Bloom and Coterra Energy. We have stock picks we've done over the last month that are now going off. We give you the conditions necessary. We're not necessarily in the midst of a buy or sell signal. We're just showing you that the market is presently approaching a significant area that you should pay attention to. And we update our trade plans regularly, showing you that the signal has gone off, it has met the requirements, it is time to buy, etc., etc., etc. So check out wickedstocks.com and take advantage of their 5-day free trial. You might like what you see, especially as the NVIDIA is part of the triple Q and the NASDAQ 100. There's a correlation here that I think you can, the nuance there is definitely real for giving you kind of a sense of tempo, a feel for market direction and flow that the triple Q analysis can provide you as a kind of a backdrop with NVIDIA trading activity. Anyway, here we are. I'm going to start with this chart. This is a weekly chart. And a couple of weeks ago, we fell back and tested this 133.92 rising channel bottom. Now, it's a little lower. It's at 130.135 on the daily chart, which I'll be showing in a moment. But the point I'm making is here, following the testing of that 133.92 channel bottom, which is a 5-6 month channel bottom, we'd mentioned how the mid 150s are considered a 2 to 3 week target. That's still in play. The question is whether we're going to fall back to 133.92 this week, before then presumably rounding back up to 155.12 over the following 2 to 3 weeks. We could continue to trade inside this, what I will just call low 130s to mid 150s, a range for a projected period of time. That is certainly possible. But I do think, given the testing of the 5-year channel bottom, that the 5-year channel top at 170.52 should be considered a 1 to 2 month objective. And yes, as we continue into the second quarter over the next several months, we can continue onward and upward to this 1-year channel structure that I consider to be a long-term price ceiling for NVIDIA. In reach, yes, holding above the 133, where are you? 133.92 formation. There it is. But becomes clarified, in my opinion, if we can break out above 155.12. So if you haven't been bottom picking weakness in anticipation of the 170s, 180s, your next opportunity to go long is on strength. A breakout above 155.12 should then yield 170.52 within 2 to 3 weeks, 185.53 within 1 to 2 months or so. This is pulling away and a significant long-term resistance area. Downside, once again, we've got 133.92 all the way down to 127.07. It's actually 127.06 on the daily chart. Let's take a look at the daily chart. Actually, I'm going to continue with the big picture, just kind of give you the heads up early on that if we were, over the next week or two, to fall away and close below 127.07, that does tip the market south as we move into March activity. Over the following 1 to 2 months, this market should then fall back to 104.47, where we could bottom out actually into later year. But I'm not expecting 104.47 unless we close below 127.07. Until then, holding above the 133.92 formation, the mid 150s likely over the next 2 to 3 weeks, the lower 170s and climbing over the next 1 to 2 months, etc., etc., etc. Let's take a look at the charts here. I'm going to jump into this one, and that is to say that last Friday was a bit of a reversal day, more than a bit. I mean, we pushed to a new 3-week high, 2-week high, and then we closed below that rising channel bottom at 146.62. This is sellable resistance today, day traders. It's also sellable resistance for the kind of the 2 to 3 week, 2 to 3 day rather, swing trade. Or here's the bottom line: below 146.22, I am expecting 138.53. That is that old 50% retracement level that held to the upside for a couple of days. And by the way, on the way down, you've got a 50% downside at 139.24. I didn't include it because it is so close to 138.53, I don't like to go inside of 1 point, on these support resistance levels. So holding below 146.22, we are expecting 138.53. Possibly today. On the way down, we have these minor points that are very tradable, 143.67, 41.54, and 40.81. But really, if you're a day trader or a 2 to 3 day swing trader, it is selling 146.22 in anticipation of 138.53. You can go long at 138.53 on a day trade basis, and quite possibly on a 2 to 3, 3 to 5 day swing trade basis. We could round up from here, but this reversal has me concerned. I'll just mention that. Holding below 146.22, while I don't expect it, I am allowing for a retracement back into the low 130s once again. You've got 133.92, that channel bottom I mentioned on the weekly chart, that is at 131.35 on the daily. We could fall back into the zone over the next week or two. And in fact, if we close today below 138.53, we should continue south into this 127.06 to 131.35 area this week. And so, the reversal closing below the channel bottom, I think that carries with it the possibility of falling back into the low 130s. And I just want to use the word possibility very deliberately here, because I'm not expecting it as an expectation. It's just looking that way to me, and I don't mean to be, I don't mean to be sort of ambiguous here. You never really know exactly what the market is going to do, of course, but that's the way it's looking. I think if you've been long the 2 to 3 week time frame, if you bottom picked this area a couple of weeks ago when we were mentioning it as a support zone, I think you can lighten up in the mid 140s right now, because there is the very real possibility that we could fall all the way back into the low 130s over the next 3 to 5 days, perhaps. 138.53 is in reach today. We can bottom out there on a daily basis and even bounce nicely, and we'll kind of see where we are at that point in time. But if we do close below 138.53, I see no good reason to stay long NVIDIA through the rest of the week. This long-term support zone in the 127.06 to 131.35 area, likely within 1 to 3 days, where we could, yes, still bottom out on a longer-term basis. I do like the 127.06 to 131.35 region as a long entry zone as we continue, into February-March trade. We've already tested it on the weekly chart, and we are still anticipating 155.12 as a 2 to 3 week target. The question is, though, are we going to spend the next 2 to 3 days falling back into the low 130, or the next 3 to 5 days? Closing below 138.53 does answer that clearly. Over the next 2 to 3 days, we should fall back into this long-term support zone. Upside, I think very simply, if we close today back above 146.22, we are once again anticipating the 155.12. This could be this week. So these levels, 138.53 and 146.22, they do carry with them kind of a 2 to 3 day swing trade opportunity. Closing back above 146.12, I would expect within 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 3 days rather, 155.12. And inversely, closing below 138.53, I would expect within 2 to 3 days, 131.35. The latter levels, these outside levels, are much more significant than 146.22 or 138.53. But for those of you who are day traders, 3 to 5 day swing traders, make note of these points. 146.22 is a level that can contain today's highs, and below which we remain on our heels. The market likely to test 138.53 over the next day or two, and quite possibly fall the way south to 131.35 over the next week or so. Closing below 138.53 does answer that. 131.53 then likely within a day or two, where bottom picking can be had on a longer term basis. Holding above that 127.06 to 131.35 region does maintain a longer term bullish dynamic. The mid 150s likely within 2 to 3 weeks, so forth and so on. And I will say that if we do close today once again above 146.22, you can anticipate the 155.12 formation within 2 to 3 days, where we can place a weekly high and fall away. And if we close above 155.12, expect 168.47 within 2 to 3 weeks. This upper area is anticipated anyway. As I started the video, I'd mentioned how holding above, that 133.92 formation will keep not only 155.12 in reach over the next 2 to 3 weeks, but yes, this rising channel top at 170.52. This is the weekly chart. The numbers are a little different. I think that pretty much rounds it out. Please click like, share, subscribe. Check out wickedstocks.com. I will be back tomorrow, of course, with Tuesday's NVIDIA report. You have a great day.